It takes trust, and more than anything, it takes commitment. We have to be dedicated to one another just as we would be dedicated to our children, our mate, our mother, our blood relatives. We need to be committed in saying we want to be a part of the healing process for the Black woman and create this sisterhood among all of us to ensure that all of us are reaching empowerment. When you are on a self-empowerment road, how wonderful that is, but the gratifying thing is knowing that you're giving that to someone else and aiding in someone else's empowerment, and they're aiding in yours. That is the idea of commitment and community, to ensure that we stay loyal to one another, even in our faults, even in our nonsense, even in our mistrust, that we stay committed, because we have to break some stuff down. We have to flush a lot of this bullshit out of not only us as personal individuals, but also as a whole. Okay, you might be fine, but how do you deal when you deal with a sister who's not fine? And we have to begin to flush that out. One of the comments on my blog on Facebook, a sister, very wonderful sister, her name is Purity, commented, and she said it takes one woman at a time, and it does. We need to be a virus. We need to be infected. This needs to be something that is overwhelmingly happening, and even when we get sick and we get a cough or we get a hiccup or our throats start hurting, we still have to continue to say we want to keep this alive for the sake of healing. So the idea of not being able to tell your sister where she's at, and this is a universal thing, even outside of the Black community, people have this idea that you can't tell a Black woman nothing, and that's some bullshit. We need to be told something. We need to hear what it takes for us to be better, because sitting in our now and sitting in where we're at should never be okay. We should be progressing. We shouldn't be stagnant or digressing, to for that matter, to ensure that we are staying committed to one another for the sake of this sisterhood. That has to happen for healing, for ourselves, for healing for other sisters, for healing for our community, for healing for the world. Because Black women, we are the strongest women on the planet. Everything came from a Black woman. This is not lady talking. This is scientific fact. Every being has come from a Black woman. So that shows our power, that shows our strength, that shows that what our influence could be if we worked together, if we got this shit together. Okay, another topic that caused much controversy on my blog was the idea of when a sister gets with another person, whether you're a lesbian, whether you're straight. If you get with somebody and you get into a relationship, your sisterhoods should remain. You should not be someone's sister because of who they're with. This idea of walking away, and if you go to the blog, you'll see, if this idea of walking away is abandonment. I don't care how you put it, how you look at it, whatever. And there is no way that trust can be established when I know at the sight of any discomfort for you, you walk away from me. What if I do something that's uncomfortable to you? Rather you coming and being a sister to me, you walk away. That's not okay. I'll tell my personal experience. I had friends walk away, and I was just sharing this with the sister who's here with me today, Daphne. I was just sharing, if I had friends who didn't leave me out in the cold during my first marriage, which I suffered from domestic violence, I had nowhere to turn. Who could I trust was not going to judge me, was not going to say I told you so, was not going to walk away from me and say, well, you put yourself in that predicament, so you need to deal with it. And because I had sisters who walked away from me, I dealt with this internally, and I dealt with this pain and this horrible treatment that I was getting, because I had nobody that I trusted. I had nobody that I believed. And of course, my mama was there. She called it out and all of that. But I was rebelling from my mama. I was trying to show my mama that I could make this work versus having a friend, a true friend who could have been there and said, this is not, I'm here for you. I don't like this man for you. Or I do like this man for you, but he doesn't mesh well with me. So I'm going to just be your friend through this process. And I only can imagine what having a friend during those trying times could have done. And I can only imagine how many other sisters go through that, losing their friends because of somebody that they're involved with. And this isn't just your intimate relationships. If you have another friend and someone who you call your sister turns their back on you during a relationship with anyone else, that relationship is not dictated, determined, affected by anything else when it is a true sisterhood. I learned this firsthand, and I made a vow that just because somebody is with somebody I may not personally like, I don't have to be with that man. So I don't have to be friends with the other female that I might not like. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to walk away from you, that I'm not going to be there for you, because when you are a sister, it is before, during, and after any type of relationship. And the goal is to set lifetime sisterhood. This is not if it's willy-nilly. There are those sisters that are just in your life for a season, and you take that as it is, and you learn that lesson from it. Because usually the people who were in your life for a season are the people who hurt you. Okay, the people who hurt you are the ones who you have to learn a lesson from. So they have to be in your life for a season. Someone who is treating you with respect, trust, and honesty, you're not going to want to get rid of them. So you're going to ensure that this is a lifetime dedication. The people who are there for a season are the ones who teach you a lesson. And usually you have to learn that lesson. Either you hurting them or them hurting you. And when it's so much pain that you can't overcome it, that's when those are people who are in your life for a season, and you respect those people. The same concept for what and standard that we have for when we get with a partner should be the same when we have a friend. We should have some type of a standard, some type of this is what it takes. This is the type of friend that I need. This is the type of sister that I need. And all of it again should be based off of trust. So that's one of the topics, and the huge underlying theme of all of it is pain. We are hurt. There are some things that we are not dealing with that causes us to react in hurtful ways, and we don't even acknowledge that they're hurtful because we're so busy blocking this pain that we don't even recognize that what we're doing is hurtful and harmful to ourselves, to another sister, which extends to the community. If you're not dealing with your rape, if you're not dealing with domestic violence, if you're not dealing with never knowing love, never knowing what it means to have a sister, if you're not dealing and facing and understanding within you that you have so much pain and so much hurt and so much turmoil that you could cry and not know what you're crying about. You can flip out, get pissed, and not know what you're pissed about. Because it's so in our being, and what we need to do is identify that, wash it out, breathe it out, and inhale nothing but good and love in order for us to take this walk into it. So the first step is to identify that pain. The first step is to say, I am pain because of A, B, C, D, or it might go A through Z for some of us, you know what I'm saying? But you have to identify that this is pain that I have not addressed. These are insecurities caused by these pains. These are my true feelings: abandonment, loneliness, compromise, ill will, wanting someone to feel my pain, trying to pull somebody out. We don't even recognize the concept of misery loves company. We don't even recognize how much, because we're miserable, we try to pull somebody else in to our misery, and we'll sit around sobbing with each other when we could be spending time saying, okay, this is how we feel, how do we heal this, what do we need to do to get out of this slump? But we'll sit there talking and gossip with one another to keep the fuel of the fire of being pained, and that is not healthy whatsoever. And once we accept that we need to get vulnerable, that is when we will begin to be phenomenal. Okay, that's what phenomenal you have